Welcome to the Relaxed Dog Podcast, the podcast where the dogs are the stars of the show. Welcome to episode 40 of the Relaxed Dog Podcast, sponsored by therelaxeddog.com. Thank you very much for finding this show. I am your host, Robert Ober, and I hope that you and your dog are well. This week's guest is George Gilbert from Las Vegas, America, and we'll be hearing all about Elvis. I know that maybe not all episodes are enjoyed by all people, so if you are new to listening to the podcast, I'd like to challenge you to listen to at least 3 episodes before making up your mind on whether you would like to subscribe to us or not. Anyway, let's get on with some doggy news. And a family in Cork in Ireland had their Springer Spaniel Ruby stolen a few months ago. Now, after an extensive police operation involving Facebook and a few different posts that were viewed by apparently over 100,000 people, a woman in the UK had noticed Ruby for sale on a website. They did a little bit of further investigation, found that she had had the microchip removed, wasn't in the best of health, but it was in fact Ruby, and she has now been reunited with her family and is doing well. And in Maharashtra, in India, a street dog has provoked a bit of conversation as it put itself on a platform near some stairs to one of the local temples and proceeded to bless people as they were leaving, either by shaking hands or putting its paw on someone as they were leaving the temple. And now, on to this week's interview. Welcome to the Relaxed Dog Podcast. I am here with George Gilbert. How are you?
I'm great, Robert. I'm really good. It's a beautiful time of the year here in Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States, and it's a little chilly, but can't complain.
That's excellent. We're just in our summer period, and we haven't really had, last week we had a few sort of like hot days, and now we're back to a little bit of drizzle and overcast.
Very nice, very nice.
So who are we going to have a chat about with today?
Well, I've had several dogs, but I think I'm going to chat about Elvis today. Elvis is a character, and I think you and your audience will like to get to know Elvis a little bit better.
I was going to think Las Vegas Elvis, of course.
And there's a reason for that, yes.
Okay, as per normal, I'm going to ask you to take us back a little bit just in time before you met Elvis and talk us through the hows and why that you got together.
Absolutely. Well, my ex-wife and I created an animal rescue here, primarily dogs, pits, and big dogs that the other rescues didn't want to help, whether it's a health issue or an attitude issue. But my ex-wife, Dory, has just been an advocate for rescues forever. And so she started this and asked me to help join the rescue because of my nonprofit background and also my public speaking skills. So anyway, not long after she started this rescue, somebody contacted Dory about this dog that they had found. They had looked all over to find the home for him. He was a puppy, and no one claimed him. They were going to keep him, but they ended up having to move to Chicago at the last minute, and they were going to take him to the kill shelter. Well, that's Dory's goal, is to prevent as many dogs going to the kill shelter as possible, obviously. So she couldn't find a foster, and she called me up and said, hey, would you take this dog in for 3 days? And I wasn't ready to have more dogs at this time, but I said, okay, for 3 days only. And so then they brought the dog over, and he was just a really cute guy and just full of energy and love and happiness. And here's how she got me, though. She said, you can name this dog whatever, because he doesn't have a name. We don't know his name. So I thought about it for a minute, and my parents were a comedy variety team back in the old days of show business. And they performed with just about everybody in show business: Frank Sinatra, Jack Benny, Bob Hope, all these different great entertainers.
Wow.
And so, they opened for the household names. Roy Rogers. I don't know if everybody knows who Roy Rogers is in Australia, but big stars in their day. In fact, Jack Benny once said that they were the funniest comedy team he had ever seen. And that's a compliment from the greatest comedian, Absolutely. Red Skelton. And so the only one that hadn't either they worked with or had come over to the house for parties and dinners was Elvis. So I said, okay, Elvis is in the house. So that's how Elvis got his name. And so now either my parents or myself have either performed with the great stars or had them over to the house. So now Elvis is in the house finally. So that's how Elvis got his name. 3 days later, I said, okay, a few more days. And, I didn't like going to the adoption places and just sitting there with a dog. I did once, and I said, and we kind of bonded. So I said, okay, I'll adopt Elvis. And that's how Elvis got to stay here. Now, Elvis was a character. He was a puppy, and he went through that stage of where a lazy bachelor like me leaves his shoes out and comes home. They're trashed. They're all chewed up. And whatever I left out, Elvis would chew up. And I was gone for a while one day and came back, and he chewed up part of my bed, my mattress. And before you know it, half the mattress was chewed up. I even had to flip it over because I wasn't going to get a new mattress just because of Elvis, because he'll just chew it up again. So I had that for a few years until I trusted him finally to not chew up my mattress. So it was kind of lumpy, but we finally got through this. And Elvis, he was always happy. And look what I did for you. Like, come on, that's not good. So we had our little knockout yelling matches back and forth. And I'd complain to Dory, and I said, I can't take this anymore. And she'd get upset. And I said, no, I'm not trying to get rid of the dog because I take on a responsibility to keep him. I'm just venting because I can't vent to Elvis any more than I already have. So Elvis, he calmed down finally and became a really good dog. I can leave him alone with my valuables and not have to worry about him chewing them up now. Absolutely. And the bed. And not long after he came to live with me, they were looking for a logo. Dory had snapped a picture of his face. It was really cute. And someone made a drawing of Elvis. So now he's no longer anymore because we're no longer part of the nonprofit that we created, but he was the face of Animal Help Alliance here in Las Vegas, where we would, as I said earlier, they would get dogs out of the kill shelters, give them homes, do whatever they needed to do so that they could find forever homes.
Nice.
And so
immortalized.
So he did a lot of good things. He was on mugs and T-shirts and everything else. And so he became a bigger star than myself. So, but I got a contract. So anything he gets, I get 25% of.
That's fair enough.
That's his agent.
When he initially came home, was there any other animals in the house?
No. My mom had just passed away. I'd been divorced for a few years, and I moved back into my parents' home. Had to reverse a reverse mortgage to keep the home. But as I said, all the stars came over here for the holidays. Roy Rogers, as I mentioned, Goldie Hawn, when she was with a TV show called Ronan Martin's Laugh-In, and they all came over for Christmas Eve one time. So I was just not ready to have a dog at this house. And it really wasn't a dog-friendly house, as I told you about Elvis chewing everything. But so I didn't have other dogs until him. Dory and I both had several dogs prior to Elvis, and she still has her dogs. And then, but we do have another brother from another mother, if you will, with Elvis now, and his name is Nemo. And they get along pretty good. Nemo, same thing. I fell for the same trick that Dory did the first time. She called me up and said, there's this dog. They're going to, actually, this one is even more serious. They're going to kill him tomorrow in the kill shelter. We got to get him out. Can you take him for 3 days? I said, oh, okay. And the next thing you know, Nemo's moving in. Now, I didn't name Nemo. The kill shelter had given Nemo that name. Mm-hmm. And Dory said, well, you can change his name to anything you want. And I said, this one I can't, because Dory finally found Nemo and saved him. So, I couldn't change that name.
How old was Elvis when that happened?
Elvis came to us about 3, 4, 5 months, about 3 months, I think. Or maybe about 6 or 8 months when we got him. Nemo was, so that was about 6 to 8 months, maybe a year after Elvis. So he was between 8 to 12 months when we got Nemo. Okay. And Nemo was about 8 years old, a bit older, but smaller dog.
How was that? So how was that initial sort of meet?
Yeah. And I was always worried. And Elvis is a kind of a pit mix, black and white spotted pit mix. He was a really good looking boy. And he was just mischievous all the time. So Nemo, fortunately, had been trained, but they get along. They didn't get along at first. And I kind of keep them separated when I'm not around, but they are buddies now.
Excellent. So with Elvis, initially you did taking him outside. Do you have sort of like favorite places to go for walks and things like that?
Well, yes. I live on a golf course here in Las Vegas, and it's a beautiful golf course. A lot of the golf courses are all desert rock on the side, and except for the fairway. But this one is lush and green, and so we like to go walking on the cart path all through the golf course, and so they really love that. They enjoy that. There's a bridge over. There's some water going through the golf course that comes down from the mountains, and they love to go and look at the ducks flopping around and the Canadian geese that are around the ponds and everything. So they thoroughly enjoy that. Fortunately, they don't really want to go out. They're always on a leash because we have leash laws here, and it's just not safe. Other people let their dogs off the leash, and it's, they either get scared or run away or something. Mm-hmm. But these guys are pretty good, and they just enjoy watching the ducks flop around and the Canadian geese and the other wildlife. Nice. We had to stop doing that for a while because it's actually a wash where as I said, the water comes down from the mountains and floods sometimes. And we went through some fires and a drought for a while, and coyotes came down and they started living on the golf course. So they got a few of the dogs, smaller ones, but I didn't want my dogs to be subject to violent attack. So we kind of stopped doing that for a while. They're gone. I hope to start up when it gets a little bit warmer here and walk them on the golf course. Wow.
So it's a wild sort of golf course.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. Right in the middle of town too. It was one of the first golf courses, and back in the day, Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer, what's his name from Australia, played tournaments here.
Maybe Greg Norman.
Greg Norman has played here, and so everybody at one time in the old days. And Tiger Woods, actually, this was his first tournament that he won as a professional.
Okay,
it was played on this golf course and a couple other golf courses at the time.
Would have made some interesting viewing if the coyotes would have been there at that time.
different time, and they run away from people for the most part, but they do like to, go after the dogs. So,
to have with the Elvis, any other sort of interaction with wildlife in the course or other places?
Yeah, he likes to chase mice or rats around. Because we're living on a golf course, there's a lot of mice and rats, and he likes to do that. And of course, he has to protect the property. So every time somebody's walking their dog in the front yard, or he's barking at them and saying, "Hey, not in my house." And so, yeah, he's the great protector. Except for with people, he loves people, and my neighbors would come over when he was a puppy, and they'd get him all excited. "Hello, Elvis," and just yell like that and get him all excited. And so he thought that was okay to jump up and on everybody. So I kind of have to keep him locked up for a little while when people come over, because he just is so excited. He's starting to grow out of that. But, I'm afraid he'll never hurt a person, but I'm afraid he'll on purpose, but he might knock somebody down or headbutt him or something like that. And I don't want anybody hurt. But yeah, he's so friendly that about a month ago, I guess it was, about 5 a.m. in the morning, it was dark out. Nemo is barking like crazy. And my video camera on the patio said there was somebody out there. And sure enough, there were two people trying to break into the house. Nemo's defending our house, but Elvis slept through the whole darn thing. So he's no good to me. He's lying right here. Nemo's right here. And I put him to sleep already.
Nice. So you mentioned a little bit earlier the word mischievous.
Yes.
You got anything you'd like to share or elaborate a little bit more with that?
Oh, he just likes to, like I said, get in trouble. He used to like to get in trouble once in a while, and he just, like I said, would chew my shoes, chew clothes, whatever. That's what I meant by mischievous. He's a good guy, good boy, and he loves to jump on people just because he loves people so much that he's really a people dog. And I would take him a few times to the fundraisers or the events that we had for Animal Help Alliance, and everybody loved him, but he wasn't so much mischievous there. He just gets so excited, I was always afraid that if I let him go, he would just go to everybody and, find another home for himself. That kind of mischievous. But one of the smartest dogs, he passed several classes, the sniffing class, and all the different types of classes we took him through. He was the star of the class. He always finished first. He did everything, and is just a really smart guy, which is smarter than me. And Nemo doesn't even care about those kind of things. He'll barely sit for a treat. But
so, what sort of classes were?
Well, like I said, he had a sniffing class, where they have to sniff out things, and then I can't remember the agility class. He was very good at, and then of course the normal training class. But he did great in agility, and always found the little doggy biscuits or whatever they hide around, and he'd go right to them. And of course, I do have a story about mischievous. I grill steaks on the Barbie, if you will. And Elvis never begged for food, never got up and was going after food. But this one time I had about 6 filet mignons on my counter, getting ready to take him to the Barbie. And I moved around the barbecue, and I moved around, got something out of the refrigerator. I mean, it was about a nanosecond, and one of those steaks were just completely disappeared. And since then, Elvis is looking for food. And so when I have people over for dinner, he doesn't do it with me when I'm eating, but when I have people over for dinner and we have food out, I have to put him in the room in his bedroom, because he gets up like this and he's on the counter looking for whatever he can get and begging for food from everybody. And, I know I've caught a few of my friends feeding Elvis or Nemo, and Nemo now, every time somebody comes over is jumping up on them looking for food and begging for food. So he was a good boy about that. And now he's that one steak ruined him. He got the best steak and now he's looking for it again.
Nice. They don't have any sort of like issues when you do have feeding time with both of them together?
No, they're good. They were trained very well with the issues. I do stay with them because Elvis wants to go and lick Nemo's bowl, and he's better about it now, but he would want to do that while Nemo was still finishing his food. And so now he knows to wait. Actually sits patiently. Like I said, he's smart. He sits patiently until Nemo leaves, and now he goes over there. But they did, and I don't know if it was a coyote or if they got into a fight when they were early on. They got into a bad fight when I went out of the house for a few minutes. And Nemo was, he gets so attached to me that he gets separation anxiety and starts to cry. So they got in a little fight, had to take Nemo to the vet, but everything was okay. And so I just make sure that they don't do that. But it could have been a coyote because that was around the same time that the coyotes were around. And one morning I woke up and Elvis was out barking both of them were out barking at something. And I looked up and the coyote was on the roof of my neighbor's house, which was pretty close to the wall, our wall. Could have jumped over the wall easily to attack him. So we don't know if it was Elvis or a coyote, but we just want to make sure that both of them are taken care of and not injured.
So you just mentioned vets. Has Elvis been to the vet for any sort of particular incidences, or how's his general health been?
His general health is really good, and he hasn't had to go to the vet for anything serious, just checkups and shots and that. He, like I said, I keep him on the leash, and I don't take him to the dog park. A lot of people do, and that's fine, but we've noticed that a lot of dog fights happen there sometimes, or they catch something from one of the other dogs, and so it's just easier to keep him home with me. And like I said, we go for walks on the golf course or around the circle and that type of thing.
Nice. Does Elvis have any particularly favorite games and things like that you play with?
Oh, yes. He gets the zoomies. He gets excited. I don't know if you know what zoomies are, but he goes around in circles. And this is a big dog, and he's not a puppy. He's now 8 or 9 years old, and he gets into those zoomies, and he just goes around and around. And he has stuffed animals, and he loves to take the stuffed animal and throw it up in the air and catch it and roll around with it. And he just goes crazy with the zoomies. But I'm glad he gets the exercise in, and he has the energy to do that. So, yeah. Oh, hello, Nemo. Nemo just jumped up in my lap right here on the chair. So Nemo wanted to say hello. A little cameo appearance by Nemo today.
That's fine. Taya, you mentioned the stuffed animals. Does Elvis have a favorite stuffed animal?
Anyone. His thing is when he gets a new one, he gets the squeaker out faster than any dog I know, and those chewy toys that are supposed to not be able to break up, he goes through those so fast. But his favorite toy, now that you mention it, is an empty water bottle. He loves to get an empty water bottle with the lid on, or the cap on it, and he loves to pop that cap off. He doesn't swallow them, otherwise I wouldn't let him go anywhere near this, but he just loves to chew those things. And once in a while I'll be doing something, I'll hear something, he'll go into the recycle bin and get his own water bottle out to chew it up. And it ends up like, I don't know if you're familiar with Legos. Kids have Legos, the little building things. Yep. And if you're a parent, I'm not a parent of that, but the joke is that one of the most painful things in the world is to step on your kid's Legos barefoot, right?
Yeah.
Well, he gets these little shards of plastic and they're all over the carpet and I don't see them sometimes. And it's like walking on those Legos. So that's his way of getting back at me.
Nice. It's a lot better than going through the garbage bin, a lot cleaner.
Absolutely. Well, fortunately, I've got a lid on that. Otherwise, he'd be going through that looking for food and not water bottles.
Nice way of recycling.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. He, since that steak incident, he's looking at the garbage can and saying, "Hey, you're throwing that away, buddy."
What about things like grooming and bath time?
He's short-haired, and so he doesn't need a lot of grooming. He does need his nails clipped quite a bit, but no grooming, and we have dry wipes, and then every once in a while we'll the wipes to wash them, and then every once in a while we'll get them washed. But they're pretty clean dogs, and they. Yeah, they're good. They're clean. Sorry, I was looking at Nemo down there, and they just we just when they need it, we do it. But I do it, and the funny thing is they don't like water. I have a pool, and everybody else's dog wants to jump in the pool. These two guys they'll walk around it, but they won't go anywhere near my pool, And if I sprinkle a little water on them, they cry, or they don't cry, but they just, they don't like it. They shake. And if it rains an hour in Vegas, they won't go outside for 3 days until it completely dries up sometimes. Okay. So that leads for some messes that I have to clean up every once in a while.
Oh, it's fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, they're not water dogs like most dogs are.
Interesting. I guess you guessing that they don't get a chance to have a lot of experience with water in where you are.
They do. I mean, I have a pool. I've tried to get them into the pool, and no, they just will not have anything to do with going in the pool. They just do not like water. So, okay. But they will avoid it if they're near and I start coming near, they're thinking, "Oh, Georgie's going to try and get us in the water again," and they walk away, The one thing they like to do around the pool is Elvis likes to have Nemo kind of bark and chase him on the opposite end. So one side of the pool will be Elvis, and he gets all excited and jumping up and down, and Nemo will go halfway around and Elvis will go the other way, and then they'll just go back and forth and never catch each other. But they just Elvis likes to be chased like that, and Nemo likes to chase. So it's a game that they love to play in the summertime when we're out by the pool.
Oh, nice. And any traveling with them?
No, I have not traveled with them. I don't know why. I just I haven't been traveling much lately anyway. Mm-hmm. But it's just kind of a hassle. They haven't gone with me on any trips per se, other than around a drive up to the mountains a couple of times to be up there. But no, I used to travel quite a bit with doing stand-up comedy and or going wine tasting over on what they call the Central Coast of California. There's a lot of very fine wineries down there, and there's over 200 of them. And my goal is to make sure I hit every single one of them before I die. And I could take them there because a lot of those wineries are dog friendly. So if I was going to do it, that's where I'd do it. But then they'd have to be the designated driver for me.
So you just mentioned also you take them up into the mountains.
Yeah, just for little walks occasionally. And we have a place called Red Rock where there's some nice hiking there. And so I've taken them up there for a couple of times also.
I'm guessing they enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, they do. They like getting out. I do keep them on the leash because you don't know what's going to be up there. There are coyotes up there and bobcats and different type of mountain lions and things like that. Occasionally you see them.
Okay.
But no, they're home buddies, and I become a homebody when I'm not going out speaking or doing any of my public speaking. And right now we're all home buddies for the last year. So that works out really good. But they are content. They enjoy a walk. Elvis, again, he's well trained, so he heals very nicely. Nemo could be a dog sled dog because he just wants to pull and drag me the whole time. So they're opposites that way.
Okay. So in the home, what about sleeping arrangements?
Sleeping arrangements. Well, when I first got both of them, they were not supposed to be allowed on the bed, and I didn't want them on the bed. I didn't want them on the couch. I don't know where it happened, but sometime within weeks, they took over and I had to ask for permission to get on the couch and in bed. And I kind of have to push them over away from my side. I got a king size bed and everybody wants to be on the one side. Now Nemo, several months ago, just kind of decided he's too old to jump up there. So he sleeps on a antique chair in the living room. And Elvis, just the last month or so, has decided he's getting a little old, and so he doesn't always get on the bed anymore. But so I've got a bed for them him at the foot of the bed now. Mm-hmm. So yes, sleeping. So now I get my king size bed that I bought after Elvis had wrecked the other one, all to myself most of the time. Sometimes Elvis feels like jumping up there.
Mm-hmm. How's Elvis with the temperature changes there? Because that's a fair range.
They do pretty, and people don't realize that in Vegas, when it gets down to 50s, it's cold here, or 40s, and it's been 30s in the evening at nighttime here. But it's 110, 115 degrees at summertime. So when you go, you're right. It's a drastic difference between summer and winter here. Just like maybe people in the East Coast or other places where it may not get as hot, but it really drops down to below freezing all the time in the wintertime. We have that kind of a drastic change in temperature here, but they seem to do okay. I think they like the summer, warmer weather more, and with the arthritis that all three of us have, I think we like the summertime better here. Mm-hmm. We have the thinner blood now than we used to. So yeah, they love being outside, hanging outside. It'll be 100 degrees, and Elvis will be sitting lying on the brick, and I'll say, "Elvis, aren't you hot?" And he just enjoys that heat and the sun beating. I have to bring him in sometimes because I'm afraid he'll get sunburned.
Have you noticed much change with, say, the last year or so with the COVID conditions?
For them, no. With them, no. They haven't changed. Wait a minute. They have changed, especially Nemo. When I put my shoes, a certain type of shoes on, they know I'm going out. Mm-hmm. And they get all excited because they know they're getting a treat. They don't get as many treats now because I don't go anywhere very often other than to Dory's house to bring her groceries or pick up a med or something like that. But Nemo starts to grab my legs and like hugging my legs. Don't go. But they do love their treat. And so that's the only difference now, that they do get they know when I'm going out and they get a little anxious or excited.
Okay. And with Elvis, would you say he's got any particular or weird habits?
Yeah, he's got a couple of them. Like I said, he likes to chew the water bottles. That's kind of a weird habit. I don't know any other dog that does that. He won't leave people alone. So if you came over to my house, he would glom onto you and you'd be having to pet him the entire time. He just loves people. So that's kind of a weird habit. He loves to do his zoomies. That's another weird habit that he has. And what else does he do crazy? He gets this pouty face on his, like, I call him Moody Howdy Doody, because he gets kind of moody, and it's like, Elvis, you got it made here. He just gets in a little down mood. I don't know why. He's the king of the house. And so I don't know why he does that, but he does kind of get into a little, woe is me, Elvis type thing. Yeah.
A question I asked all my guests is to complete the sentence, I can't believe my dog ate.
I can't believe my dog ate my bed, ate my shoes, ate my furniture. I could go on forever.
Dear. Thankfully, that is only a small stage of life.
Yeah, it's no biggie now. We had our argument at the time, but he won. I gave in.
So, and you've plans for Elvis and Nemo in the next few months with the environment and things changing?
Well, Elvis is retired as the mascot and the face of Animal Help Alliance. They now that we're no longer part of it, they've gotten a new one. So Elvis and Nemo and I think we will probably go on some hiking trails this year when it's a little bit warmer. Some easy ones. Nemo's got kind of a limp, and Elvis has developed kind of a limp too from arthritis, it looks like. Mm-hmm. So we'll start doing some more hiking when it gets warmer. And again, we just bring people over and let them enjoy each other. Hopefully, they've gotten lonely because I've only had 2 people come over and we socially distance. But one of them is my neighbor, Tom Maroney, who was the one, he and his wife would come over when he was a young puppy and just get him all excited. So I let Elvis jump all over Tom because he's the one who encouraged that as a puppy. And so that's what I call karma here. Yeah. Dog karma. So, absolutely. And no, they just, they're homebodies. They like to be at home, and they used to kind of jump, when I opened the door, they'd kind of go running out, but now they don't. Nemo likes to go see what's been delivered every day, or the groceries. He wants to go and talk to them. So he does go out a little bit to see what's been delivered. But other than that, I don't have to worry about them too much. Now, if I left the door open and there was a dog or something, that might be a different thing. They might want to go running out, and they'd probably go, I don't know what to do with it once I caught it. But it's like the mice and rats. They never catch them, but they love to chase them. And one time I was in the pool, and all of a sudden, Elvis went and he got into this kind of defensive position and was growling, and I kind of knew what it was. And sure enough, there was a coyote about 15 feet on the other side of the fence and the gate. And so we had to bring the boys inside, but Elvis was ready to take them on. He was ready to protect Nemo, myself, and the house, the property. So it's good to know that, but I don't want him to protect. I don't want him to get in a scuffle with that. But, as I said earlier, if you're breaking in, he's going to show you where everything is. Here's where the jewelry is. Here's where the bonds are, here's the cash. Go ahead and take it all.
Yeah, as long as you pat me.
As long as you pet me. And, oh, by the way, here's a treat. Just give me a treat. George will never know. I won't give you up.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time out and sharing all about Elvis. It's been a nice conversation.
Well, thank you for having us. Yeah, Elvis is quite the character. It's hard to describe him, but to know him is to love him. And he grows on you. He grew on me, and so we become best buddies.
That's lovely to hear. Thank you again. Take care, and we'll look forward to catching up sometime.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you very much for listening. Elvis has left the building. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please share it with your friends or with someone else who's not a friend even. Don't forget, if you want to join the Relaxed Dog Podcast Facebook group for any comments, or if you want to get in contact with me, or you want to make any suggestions, feel free to do so. Until next week, stay safe and remember, your dog is family.